Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, cats and kittens, dogs and fucking puppies, and all the wrestling fans all over the world. Special shout out to India for giving me some followers on my Instagram. And yes, we love you too. But welcome to the Wrestling Enthusiast Real Talk. I'm Eric Peralta, otherwise known as the Wrestling Enthusiast. And today, we're going to be looking at AEW Dynamite from July 22nd, 2020. And check out some wrestling news. So let's get right to it and let's see what the hell is going on in the wacky world of professional wrestling. And actually, I wanted to say something real quick, because I have an announcement to make right after we get through the news and we start taking a look at what the hell's been going on in the wacky world and crazy world, but nonetheless fun world of professional wrestling here. So let's take a look at what we have here. And let me see if we can take a look at the ratings and see what's going to happen here. Actually, I can't find the ratings here. They haven't been posted yet, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is, let's discuss the ratings, because I did take a glimpse at it one time. So here we go. Monday Night Raw produced a 1.6 million viewers. And this is the aftermath of the WWE the WWE Horrible show at Extreme Rules. You know, when you say something like that and try to make fun of that shit, you know it's not good. But anyway, so yes, they averaged 1.6 million viewers, which is the second worst rated Raw in history. The week before took the cake at 1.543 million viewers. They registered a 0.39 in the 18 to 49 demographic. Well, you know, can I say I'm surprised? No, I'm not. Especially after a shit show that SmackDown got. That was indeed a shit show. Good news out of Bobby Fulton's situation. It turns out that he has beaten cancer once again. And doctors reviewed that he might have had something, that cancer has returned on the other side. However, they did a second opinion on him, and it turns out that he actually did not have it. So I guess he's got a clean bill of health. So congratulations to Bobby Fulton. Happy for him. He's a great legend in the wrestling business. Triple H and Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon and others sell stock. And the wacky McMahon family, of course, you know, as you see them walking around and owning up the fucking corporation, as you see. So Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, and Triple H sold off some of their WWE stock. According to WWE's corporate website, a full list of SEC filings have been released to the public. The stocks were all sold at $46.26 per share. There were Class A common stock. The share amounts that each executive sold were as follows. Vince McMahon sold 12,762 shares, which is roughly estimates amount about $590,370.12. Stephanie McMahon sold 11,167 shares. That's almost about $500,000 right there. Triple H sold about 10,628,000 shares, almost $500,000. Bradley Blum, fucking clown, I'm pretty sure, sold 6,735 shares, which is about $311,561.10. Brian Nurse, clown, sold 146 shares, which roughly estimates about $6,753.96. Mark Cowell sold 2,613 shares, which is roughly an estimation of $120,877.38. And Kevin Dunn, I saved his name for last. He sold about 21,809 shares, which roughly estimates about $1,008,884.34. Mr. Bucky Beaver himself, fucking Kevin Dunn. What a fucking clown he is, ain't he? Speaking of fucking Kevin Dunn, Bucky Beaver, stupid fucking ass clown, Bucky Beaver, snaggletooth jackass. He was upset about something that happened at Extreme Rules during one of the matches. According to reports, WWE executive Kevin Dunn was upset about all the sports in the Extreme Rules match between Sasha Banks and Asuka. According to Fightful.com, Dunn was set off by some production errors in the women's match. Dunn was reportedly upset after the cameras caught Bayley in spots where they weren't supposed to. As of this writing, there is no word on which spots he was unhappy with. While the issues weren't said to be significant, they were enough that Dunn was yelling at people over it for not protecting the talent. Since when the fuck does he protect the talent? That's a bunch of bullshit. And we all know that he doesn't give a shit about the talent, except for some selected few. And I say selected few because, fucking ass clown that he is, you suggest that he probably would know that nobody in that fucking company likes him, except Vince McMahon. So, with that being said, fuck him. Oh, look at my feelings hurt. I'm upset. I'm mad. I'm wah. You didn't get the thing right. You didn't get the whole thing right. You freaking messed up with the camera angles. You messed up because you're not pushing certain talent. Your idea is too smart and too intelligent. And now apparently you can't. I'm not gonna pull up for it. I'm gonna put a stupider event over a nice event, and I'm gonna do something a lot better. And I'm gonna do something that's way more entertaining, and that's to bore the people at home. Wah. Fuck you, fucking Kevin Dunn. He's part of the problem that WWE has. And apparently this fucking bum thinks that wrestling shouldn't even be a fucking serious. He thinks it should be a damn a clown show. He thinks it should be a circus. That's the worst thing you could do that's the worst thing you could do to put off with professional wrestling, because if you look, has there been some goofy shit going on? Yeah, of course. I mean, who hasn't? But that's not what we're looking at here. What we're looking at is like some shit that happens with with certain matchups, certain rivalries. You got to book the shit really well. You got to book it good in order to make it entertaining or make people come back. That's how you create fans. Book the talent. Make sure that the rivalry is taken seriously. And if they're over, you have to push them. See, Vince McMahon does not do this shit. He does not do this shit because he's a senile old fuck. He's not that good. He's not that good of a promoter anymore. His time has fucking passed. And you know something? I think he realizes that. So I think what happens is that he doesn't like the idea that people are getting over the people that he thinks that'll get over. He's just a delusional fuck. Along him, Kevin Dunn, and probably Bruce Pritchard, because I believe he's probably smoking that dope. I'm convinced now that he is smoking that dope, because apparently he's pushing people and making these wacky ideas, especially with the stupid Wyatt swamp fight, which isn't even that good. I mean, the only part that caught my attention was that guy that got caught on fire, a henchman. And I mentioned before on the last episode of Real Talk, I mentioned that that's the first time I've seen in any type of WWE show or platform or match, if you want to call this fucking thing a match, that's the first time I've seen anybody get lit on fire in 14 years. The last time I seen anyone get on fire was when Kane took on MVP back at Armageddon 2006 in an Inferno match. By the way, I suggest watching that show on the WWE Network. That show was amazing. Now that I say about that shit, speaking of amazing shows, I am going to review AEW Dynamite real quick, but I thought I would just take a small little glimpse of what happened at NXT. The show opened with William Regal at home and puts over Keith Lee's huge win when he beat Adam Cole for the NXT and North American Championship. He's going to continue to defend the NXT Championship. However, he's going to relinquish the North American title. So, Regal announces that there'll be a series of triple threat matches starting tonight well, this is referring to July 22nd. By the time this shit comes out, it's going to be July 23rd. That winners of triple threat matches will advance to a ladder match at TakeOver 30 on August 22nd, and they will crown a new champion. Dexter. So in the meantime, let's take a look at the first match. Dexter Lumis takes on Killian Dane. I saw a glimpse. I saw this match. It was all right. I didn't take it too much into stride, so I liked it. I'm not going to go through full-on detail. I'm just going to be brief. I gave that match a 6.5 out of 10. It was good. I think Killian Dane is pretty much dead and buried by this time. I don't think he'll ever get any storyline advancement or any opportunities. Dexter Lumis looked good. I think he's going to get an opportunity down the line, whether it's for the North American title or something. I'm not going to go through the interviews because there was an interview by Roderick Strong and Bronson Reed and Johnny Gargano. I'm not going to get into details. There was a little thing about Dakota Kai and Io Shirai, especially when Dakota Kai kicked her fucking teeth in. There was a tag team match between Breezango and Everrise. It was all right. I liked the way how Breezango dressed as the Mounties. Everrise, you know, it was a fun little squash match, but Breezango, you know, kicked some ass in this match. This match lasted over 3 minutes, I believe. So I'm gonna give it a quick 6 out of 10. Then the next match, they interviewed Dominik Dijakovic facing Karrion Kross, and it's going to be different from last week. So let's see about that. Aaliyah from the Robert Stone brand takes on Shotzi Blackheart. Nice to see these two fight. It was a quick little match. Shotzi's crazy. She said, "Welcome to the ball pit." That's fucking crazy. She's crazy, cool, punk rock style. Anyway, match was relatively short. Not shorter than 3 minutes, but it was right around 5-6 minutes, maybe. Shotzi Blackheart won. It was a little rough on the edges there, but it was okay. I'm pretty sure this is to get Shotzi over, I believe, and to beat and to shut the mouth of Robert Stone, I guess. 5.56. It was average. It's okay. I mean, I'm not blaming nobody here in particular. Just, you know, if you have a short match, it's not going to be a classic. But, you know, it's okay. You know, showcase them. This was just a brief showcase. So, it's all right. Anyway, by the way, Robert Stone got knocked down to the floor, and then Shotzi runs over his other leg, and then Stone again hilariously sells it and ran his ass over with the tank. And then Shotzi tries to celebrate, and all of a sudden, Mercedes Martinez fucking beats the shit out of her. Gives her a big boot, then stares down Stone and Aaliyah. Then we got a promo of Isaiah Swerve Scott. He's a great wrestler, great talent. I look for things in the future of him. One of the first triple threat matches was for the NXT North American Championship qualifier for that ladder match at TakeOver. So Bronson Reed versus Johnny Gargano versus Roderick Strong. What happened to the Undisputed Era? That's my first question. What happened to them? I don't know what the fuck happened. But on the other hand, I liked the match. It was brute. Johnny Gargano looked amazing as always. He always puts on great matches. Roderick Strong, you know, gets it going. You know, he knows how to do that shit. I like when, and Bronson Reed too, you know, I like when he does that thick boy senton, because he is indeed thick. So he's fucking knows how to fucking power off, and he's got that brute strength. So anyway, he looked good in this match, and believe it or not, he actually won. And to me, that was match of the night for NXT. That match was an 8 out of 10. It was an 8 out of 10. I loved how everyone performed in that match. Everyone was doing a great job. The next match was Oney Lorcan and Timothy Thatcher. Like I said, I'm not going to go into details, but I'm going to go very brief on it, because I only watched it once. And I could review, and I didn't take any notes. So, Oney Lorcan, I did see that against Timothy Thatcher. This was mostly a grappling a grappling match. It was a lot of mat wrestling involved. Timothy Thatcher just flat out does that strong style type of wrestling, that European strong style and that Japanese strong style. Because he fought I believe he fought Okada before one time. I think, was it? Oh no, fuck, I forgot his name. But no, and nonetheless, Hinori Suzuki. Yeah, I remember. I think he fought him. Anyway, I love the match because there was a lot of grappling and fish hooking. There was a lot of stiff knife edge chops. There was a lot of grappling in the arm bars and leg hooks. And Thatcher had a Fujiwara arm bar, so that made him. They started throwing chops, and then Orny tried to grab him for a submission arm bar, but then Thatcher runs up and towards the pin and steals the win. So it was like a sneaky victory for Timothy Thatcher. So I see a little rivalry going on in between him and Oney Lorcan. That was a 7.5 because I like the grappling. So Robert Storm complains about getting run over again. Then they kick out of the interviewer and start talking shit. And then all of a sudden, Mercedes Martinez walks by and says she focuses on hurting people in the ring, yada, yada, yada. But then she says, I'll join your brand only if you, but I'm not going to, but, don't overstep my boundary. Don't overstep my boundaries, or or she'll break, or I'll break your leg permanently. Some shit like that. So anyway, something. Supposedly Dexter Lumis will take on Timothy Thatcher next week, and let's see what Finn Balor does too next week. So it's going to be interesting, especially when they cut a little promo on him. Main event was Dominik Dijakovic against Karrion Kross. And Dijakovic looked like the hero in this one. Karrion Kross, obviously a powerhouse. So you can tell by how his demeanor is looking on this match. Good match. I liked it. But it was not the masterpiece of Timothy Thatcher's match and Bronson Reed's victorious triple threat match. But it was still good. 7 out of 10 until like the referee stops contest. I don't know. I mean, it was okay. Basically, Karrion Kross just destroyed Dominik Dijakovic to a point where he was unconscious, and they had to stop the match. I'm gonna tell you, this was a 7 out of 10. It was good, but I'm gonna tell you, this was not as good as AEW Dynamite this week. I am so sorry. And I'm not hating. I'm not hating on anybody. I don't hate on WWE. I just hate the people that are running it. Except Triple H. Triple H runs NXT, and it shows. Because they put on better matches. They have better talent. Their roster is always obviously improved. And their women's division kicks ass. Not just in NXT, but in the women's side. SmackDown, they got Naomi. Dana Brooke has improved. Who else do they got? Lacey Evans. Yeah. Bayley, Nikki Cross, Alexa Bliss, and Sasha Banks. I like that. Now, as far as Raw goes, well, they had Asuka. They had Becky Lynch. Well, she's on the shelf. Charlotte Flair. They had Ruby Riott. The Iconics. You got Liv Morgan, Natalia, Lana, although she's a bit green. I have no disrespect to her. I like her, but she's a bit green. Some people say she looks like a Stepford wife, but she's green. But no, that doesn't mean I don't like her. And then I got Kairi. Poor thing. She's going back to Japan after this week. They sent her off with a victory on Raw. So that was probably her last Raw appearance. But I think she still has one more appearance left before she goes back to Japan. She was a great contributor to the main roster in the women's side. She contributed great, along with Asuka, tag team champ and whatnot. Women's tag team champion. That was great. But I guess she feels like maybe she needs to go back home. I can't really necessarily blame her. I think she's on good terms with them. which is nice because usually they end on bad terms. But yeah, I just I feel bad for her, but at the same time, if anything at all, thank you, Kairi Sane, for putting on some spectacular women's matches and having one of the best flying elbows I ever seen anyone do. And I'm not gonna review Raw because fuck Raw. I didn't give a shit. That was probably the positive thing of the whole night. Who gives a fuck about Randy Orton versus The Big Show? They fought each other like umpteenth fucking billion times, so fuck them. Now let's move on, shall we? I think we should start. But then, that's just my fucking opinion. Vince McMahon, Kevin Dunn, Bruce Pritchard, stop fucking booking these old motherfuckers. It's 2020. Get over it. All right, so let's take a look at AEW Dynamite. And clearly, watching this was, in my opinion, the best AEW Dynamite that they have ever put off since the pandemic started, in my opinion. So I love the fact, and you know what? I'm always happy. I always tell this to myself that I'm always happy that I'm a wrestling fan. I get to see shit like this. So anyway, I always look forward to Wednesday nights. I always look forward to see what happens between AEW and, of course, NXT, because they always put out the best in wrestling as far as like pushing athleticism and pushing character development and all that shit, and then developing everything. So I always find out that, AEW Dynamite and WWE NXT on Wednesday nights, they always fucking put on great fucking shows. This one was no exception, and then some. That's what I liked about this. If I take a look at it real quick, I just want to tell you my true feelings about this shit. This AEW is going to be a monster one of these days. And I hope it starts competing with Monday Night Raw. I mean, and this is just a thought. And it's something to put in the suggestion box. I'm not trying to say let's start a promotional war between WWE and AEW, because that's what's basically going on Wednesday nights. However, I would like to see AEW compete against Raw or SmackDown, because let's be honest, Raw has been shit and SmackDown's been even shittier, in my opinion. So let's start AEW Dynamite, shall we? So we start off with an open challenge to the TNT Championship match, Cody versus a mystery opponent, and rumor had it that it was going to be one of the top talents in the independents. Already, not even 2-3 minutes into the show, he grabs a fucking microphone, and out comes Eddie Kingston, yelling his fucking ass out, talking all kinds of shit. And comes out, cuts a dope-ass promo, which I liked. It was talking about grinding and fucking, going through shit, especially, becoming a champion and whatnot. So saying Cody could kiss his ass to Tony Khan, but Tony Khan pays him to kick Cody's ass. And calls him an egg-sucking bitch. Well, I like that shit. He goes, "Ooh, did I say something?" Oh, yeah, and by the way, this match is now no disqualification, too. So that's just adds extra kick to it. By the way, so for the TNT Championship, and Justin Roberts was going to go and start doing his in-ring introduction. And as soon as he was starting to do his in-ring introduction, Kingston comes and jumps Cody from behind. And the match already began so fast that I couldn't fucking keep up. They were fucking punching and kicking and shit. You know what I mean? So, fuck. I couldn't keep up. I tried. There was a lot of offense. There was a lot of defense. There was a lot of punching and kicking and throwing Cody into the barricade and such, taking him out to the floor. When they went outside, Cody gets his weightlifting belt, but then he is trying to whip Eddie Kingston with it. Then Eddie Kingston started fighting back and then grabbing it, and then he fucking whips he gets whooped by Eddie Kingston. Then he rips the floor mat. Eddie Kingston gets the floor mat because he started whipping Cody with the belt as well. Then Eddie Kingston ripped the floor mat off right there at ringside. And then he gets a back body drop attempt. And then he gets back body, and Eddie Kingston lands on his left knee. And I noticed when that happened, I noticed that he started to limp a little bit. Now, I don't know if he was selling that or if he was like legit hurt. He got some sort of legitimate injury that he might have gotten, so I am not sure. I'm not fully 100% on that, but he was kind of limping. Midway towards the match, you just started to notice that he started to grab his knee from time to time with a couple of headbutts and a couple of wrestling maneuvers. You also saw that he was starting to clutch his knee. But anyway, midway through the match, he starts kicking Cody's ass. Cody tries to fight back whenever he can, and then Cody started just fighting back and tried to hit him with everything he got in the wrestling maneuvers and his wrestling repertoire. Eddie Kingston starts fighting back, gets a couple of near falls and such, and then all of a sudden, he goes under the ring, gets a bag. A big fucking bag. And I'm thinking to myself, no way. They're not going to be using thumbtacks, are they? Sure enough, it's fucking thumbtacks. On an AEW Dynamite episode on TNT. And I applauded this shit. I was stunned. I mean, I'm not stunned because they pulled this shit off at a pay-per-view, no doubt. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that they're pulling this shit off on nationwide television or on worldwide television, depending on where you're watching from. But they're pulling this shit off. Fucking thumbtacks. Cody fights back, blocks a suplex and a backdrop, and then Eddie gets a power bomb onto Cody, and Cody goes back first into the fucking thumbtacks. Ooh, that shit hurt even me. Oh, that was painful, and you can see the reaction on everyone's face because the camera panned towards everyone else at ringside. Cody, Hikaru Shida even looked really concerned. Cody gets momentum afterwards. He starts fighting back. And then Cody gets figure four submission on and then gets Eddie Kingston right on his knee. And he fucking gets him in a submission and he taps out. Cody retains the title, the TNT Championship. And that's a hell of a way to fucking start AEW Dynamite, in my opinion. What a fucking way to start the show. You know what? I was expecting this match to be spot on with the shit, especially since they said they were going to have some guy from the independents and they were going to literally fucking use him. I did not know it was going to be Eddie Kingston. It could have been Nick Aldis. It could have been James Storm. It could have been Arian Stevens. It could have been whoever, you know. I mean, it could have been some guys that we've seen before, but Eddie fucking Kingston, godly. I got the impression that Cody is really trying to prove himself, you know, and that's what I was thinking to myself. But the other side of the coin, it was nice to see some damn blood. I'm quoting my father here in a sense because, like, say, you know, he watches the UFC Fight Pass because he's a big fan of MMA. He's not as big of a fan of professional wrestling, but he likes MMA more. But in a sense, he's like, oh, well, we I've got to look at the fights, man, but we want to see some people fight. We want to see some blood. In other words, being bloodthirsty. But, you know, there are some people that actually like that type of shit. So, in that perspective, I liked it. This was an 8.5 for me. And you know what? This just proved that Cody could do any type of wrestling. Tag team, world main eventing, fucking catch as catch can, and fucking and now we could tell he does no holds barred style matches. Even that fucking cage match he had with Wardlow back in February, that shit stunned me. I love that shit. Anyway, so what a way to start. 8.5 out of 10. That's a hell of a way to start. After that, words backstage, Moxley prides himself on keeping it real, where he tells us he's going to do it, he'll do it, and he'll likely do it. So anyway, he told Taz he was going to try and rip Cage's arm off, and then he did. He gave Taz Manager of the Year because Cage was this close to 6 months off due to injury. Taz made the right call. He tells Cage that next time he won't let go. So I don't know. Are they going to continue lingering the rivalry here? I don't know. So in the ring is a jobber, and I believe his name is Griff Garrison. So anyway, MJF says he's jacked and tan, ready to go. Oh boy, yeah, he's giving his douchebaggy persona, but you know that's how he is because he's a fucking genius heel. He knows how to be a fucking heel. He says that Griff Garrison looks nervous, and they say he should be because this jobber in the ring, and he literally called him a fucking jobber. He will give this guy an opportunity of a lifetime, and he calls him Jungle Man. And he took offense to that, so MJF started mocking him. MJF says that this guy has an Ivy League MVP moniker on him, and says that he looks like he couldn't graduate finger painting class. Oh boy. So he basically roasted his ass. Then Garrison started bringing up the loss at Fyter Fest. And then after that, he's like, oh, well, that's good. Well, then, boom. Then he fucking clocks him right in the face. Then the bell rings. So here we go. This match is obviously going to be one-sided. MJF whips up Garrison into the corner right away and started choking him to boot. Belly-to-belly suplex. And it's just like a basic jobber-type match. Slow maneuvers. And then we go to picture-in-picture. Picture-to-picture. Why? But, okay. It's hard for me to watch picture-to-picture sometimes because I got to see what's going on the small side of the screen. So then I look at that. And I look like MJF just did some basic wrestling maneuvers. He kept giving him a right hand, kept giving some punches to the face, kicks to the midsection. MJF grabs the mouth from behind while mounting. He sends the guy out to the outside of the ring, out to the floor. Couple of punches, sends him to the ring post outside. Then MJF grabs the mic again and says, okay, to hold on. He tells the jobber they got off on, maybe we got off on the wrong foot. MJF said that this because he upset him and he didn't lose, and that he's never been pinned or submitted. So that would mean that means he's undefeated. Well, you lost that one match there, bud. But anyway, it's heel tactics. So that's good. Not much of a match. Just MJF stomping him, stamps on his hand, wants Griff to say it and say that he's undefeated. MJF says no, then chokes him, then screams at his face, asking him to say it. And then Griff finally says it, and then he says that wasn't so hard. But then he pokes him through a roll up. And gets a near fall out of it. Clotheslines MJF. And then once MJF got the clothesline, he gets Wright's hand over and over again from MJF. And he keeps punching him. Sends Griff to the outside apron. Then gives him the heat seeker. 1, 2, 3. Not that impressive of a match, but this is a jobber style match. I'm surprised that this jobber got as much time as he usually did. It's not the way WWE does it, because WWE does it like within 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and that's it. It's over. This was double that time. Now I have a rule: when I critique these matches and when I watch them on my TV and when I critique them, I don't have a stopwatch on. But I know this match was longer than 3 minutes. This was probably double that time, if anything. But it's okay. That's fine. I'll just give it a 6 out of 10. That's fine. It's making MJF look good. Not much to say on that one. So it's above average. Backstage, Britt Baker wants to talk to her about her surgery and then being a role model because I believe she got nasal surgery or some shit. I have no idea. I guess because her nose was fractured and she was being taken advantage of. Reba flips it. Rule number 4, never count out a role model. She says that it's temporary, set for the biggest comeback of all time. And then Tony tried to ask her something, but she shut him down about it. She interrupts him. Britt tells them both to shut the hell up because I guess what's her name? Reba. That's really her fucking name, but anyway, Reba, started arguing about it and then tells both of them to shut the hell up and suck it up. She calls herself Michael Jordan and says not to count her out. Reba was talking about Space Jam. I must have seen that movie 19 times, and I see him win. That's funny. That was funny to me. But that was a little promo. Must be a teaser to the next pay-per-view, which is AEW All Out. Now, Brian Cage, his music hits, and he starts coming out with Taz. So Cage is wearing his FTW title. Shut the music, Taz says. So he says that he admit that he got at heat discussions. And yes, he'll be frank. He almost got fired. But luckily, cooler heads prevailed. Okay, all right, got that. He tossed in the towel and cost him the title, and then he realized that the longer Moxley had that legit armbar on a surgically repaired bicep, the worse it was going to get. And Taz would be damned if that was torn a second time. Taz had torn it once. He stands behind what he did as a business decision because he can assure any other wrestler in this world that Cage will never be in that position again. Never, ever, ever. Cage would never tap, didn't tap, and then he's not wired to tap. That's why this is the FTW champion. Then here comes Darby Allin. Now Darby Allin starts coming out and interrupts Taz. And once he was starting to walk inside the ring, he wants to get Brian Cage. Here comes Ricky Starks. Now, if you watched AEW Dark on YouTube, you notice Darby Allin had a match on Dark, but Ricky Starks started attacking him. And then Taz and Cage started coming out. So apparently they got a little thing here. So maybe Taz is going to manage Ricky Stark. Anyway, so he attacks Darby from behind. Here comes Brian Cage. And then he powerbombs Darby right outside the ring, right near the entrance ramp. Then he does it again into the ring and just tosses his ass like nothing. Starks gets himself a move in with his sockless dress slippers on, which looked ridiculous. But then he holds up Darby up, and then and after grabbing the skateboard, Cage looks to attack, but out comes Jon Moxley with a fucking barbed wire baseball bat. So they chased them fuckers out of the way, didn't they? Yeah, what the fuck? He'd be running off too with a fucking barbed wire baseball bat. But anyway, so we're told that AEW will be having a women's tag team tournament this summer. Wait a minute. Summer? Aren't we in fucking summer already? Anyway, that's beside the point. I guess they presume it's August. That's what the whole situation of that would be. So there's going to be 8 teams with 16 women participants that will be participating in a tournament. So, okay, that's going to be interesting. So anyway, once that was announced, Jericho was backstage and asked what color his jacket is. It's orange, but it's supposed to be white. It cost him $7,000, and now it's ruined because of Cassidy. Like the saying goes, from white as a sheet to red as a beet. Anyway, so now he will ruin his career and he will embarrass him. Tonight, the Inner Circle will embarrass the Jurassic Express. Stunt called him an idiot. What makes Jericho laugh is Stunt's bulbous head. I don't know why I found that fucking funny. Oh shit! The fact that a lucha isn't really. Oh yeah, and then he says Luchasaurus isn't really a dinosaur, like if he actually was. It's just a gimmick, but it's okay. I actually like Luchasaurus. I actually like his demeanor, and I like his skill. For a 6'9", 6'10" individual, be throwing fucking enziguris and super kicks like a cruiserweight, that's just not natural. But he could do it. He could pull it off. So anyway, after Jericho says he smells like fucking orange juice, it probably would have smelled like fucking dwindling taint. The Young Bucks are actually looking around because I believe they are looking around to see what the hell they're going to be doing. But anyway, they go into a kitchen, I guess in the facility, and then they find Butcher and Blade, which, by the way, is a Falls Count Anywhere match. So there's a referee right there next to him, so that they start the match in the kitchen. That kind of surprised me. I didn't think they would start right there, but that's cool. I ain't complaining. I like it. I like the idea. So Butcher and Blade make sure to wash their hands before they fight. That's some fucking shit. That's one thing this pandemic is. That's one thing that this fucking pandemic has taught us. Not only just to wash your ass, but also wash your hands. Wash your ass and wash your hands. But anyway, let's move on. The attack goes down. Nick starts flying over a table, and it looks like a spectacular little spot. Then the Butcher is right there, and then catches him, and then tosses Nick onto a knee powerbomb from Blade onto a table, which is one of those moving tables and those metal tables. So he gets a cover, and it's a near fall on the fucking thing, which looked weird. Matt attacked both Butcher and Blade, and then Matt was running up a wall. Then he flips over. That was fucking dope. That was cool. He gets stuffed, then he gets punched, then they suplex Matt onto a table, gets a near fall. This shit started brawling outside. They started in the kitchen, and then they started fighting outside near the bar area on the outside of Daly's place. So then, watching this shit further on, I guess Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson, they grabbed a dolly. Actually, Butcher and Blade grabbed the dolly. So they grabbed the dolly. Blade sends him into the boys, but then they move. They got out of the fucking way. Bucks double team Butcher to a table, then grab a cookie sheet. Then they started pounding him in the fucking head with it. Nick drived another cookie sheet. Then Nick drive knee into the sheet, and they got a double team from Butcher and Blade. Matt was nearby the truck on the outside because there was like a production truck, one of those semi-trailer production trucks. They then grabbed Nick and then sent him into the door of the semi. Matt flies onto Butcher and Blade, and that was a nice little spot. He started favoring the wrist because I think he might have landed somewhat awkwardly. Buck started to grab Blade, then they sent him into an empty bar area. There was a pixel glass barrier. So they turned up on Blade, and then they stomped his ass out. And then Blade is at it. They started fighting, and Butcher starts fighting back. Nick then grabs another sheet and then slaps Blade over in the head with it. There's a table nearby. They lay him down on it. Then grabs a sheet, gets on top of the bar, puts the sheet under his ass, and flies off the bar with a senton. That was a nice looking spot. And here's the thing: the table didn't fucking break. The table didn't break, and I bet you it hurt twice as much because you're expecting that table to break your fall, but at the same time that shit just absorbed. So it probably hurt like a motherfucker. So Blade gets up, gets a super kick, gets super kicked in the face, And then he's on the escalator, and then he's going up, and he's going up, and he's going up, while he's knocked out. We didn't get no picture-in-picture. And I said to myself, why the fuck didn't we get a picture-in-picture when this was happening? This match was a spot fest, but at the same time, it was some nice spots. It was fun. It was fun. I was loving it. Though you could do a picture-in-picture to all the other matches, but this one, no? What the fuck? But anyway. So I'm watching through these boring-ass Liberty Mutual and I'm watching these boring-ass Liberty Mutual commercials that I'm fucking watching here. I'm already tired of them. I've always seen them at least 4 fucking times through a 2-hour span. We're back from break. The Bucks are taking Blade towards the ring. Then they team him with a reverse DDT, then a running knee strike. So all kinds of shit just started to happen. They tried to lift Butcher, but his fat ass is too heavy. No disrespect. I think he's fucking cool. Nick flies Butcher and moves to the side. And then he attacks Matt in the back, and then Nick collapses, and then here comes Blade. So there's these two, and then here's one thing I noticed. There's these two fucking tables that are at ringside, and I see them right here. One side, like on the right-hand side of the ring, and then one behind the ring. The front is the entrance. So just to get a clarification, this is what it is. So after he gets thrown Irish whipped onto the barricade. The tables are right there. Butcher and Blade actually tried to powerbomb Matt into it, but then Matt started kicking and then backflips into a neck breaker on Blade because these guys are fucking crazy. They tried to set up, and then Matt and Nick tried to set up the table over the barricade, then set it up at a certain angle. Then the Bucks started grabbing Butcher, and then they were going to suplex him on the table, but then Butcher stops him. He suplexes both guys. He attacks both of them, sending Nick into the barricade, and then a right hand to the face of Matt. Blade is in the ring, and then he flies over the fucking top rope and does a tope, and he missed the damn table, which was risky as shit because he could have suffered some sort of neck, because his neck could have hit the damn barricade, and that would have been lights out, and he would have been unconscious. That was extremely risky move right there. But if he landed on the table, it would have cushioned his landing a little bit. But that was a rough fucking dive, and that looked dangerous. So, but anyway, so here comes Butcher with a flying crossbody onto Matt, and then he crashes him into the table. That one actually worked. They actually used the table on that one there. So then after that, Butcher grabs Matt and then sends him into the ring. Now, I wondered to myself, because I noticed when I was looking at this shit, I saw how the referee was tending to Blade, because I thought Blade was fucked up after that. But it turns out he wasn't. So we get a couple of spears and some knee strikes by the Young Bucks. Matt tried to use a sharpshooter, and then Nick tried to use a crossface. But then Blade ended up recovering, so I guess he was all right. Blade tried to do a kick to the face, then he sends Matt and sends him into Nick's corner. And then Blade tried to suplex Nick onto the top rope and then clothesline Mike to the outside. So they all started fighting back out there again. Then they started heading towards the entrance ramp, and then they went towards the entrance area near the tunnel, and then both of them went on separate sides, the heel side and the face side, because if you notice, there's two rampways, there's two tunnels, one for the heels, one for the faces. They go to both sides and they go pick up a table. And right near the entrance tunnels, they set up the tables right on the side. And they started fighting and they started fucking each other up. Once some super kicks on Butcher and super kicks on Blade. Butcher tried to use a clothesline, but he fucking missed. Then he did two super kicks to Butcher, which looked like one of them might have landed on his face. Blade tries to get up, and then he goes right back down right after they got double teamed. They set Blade up on the table, and then Butcher was all fucked up. Super kick on both Bucks. They try to fight back. Blade and Butcher are on the tables, but both Bucks gave him a super kick to the Butcher, and then Blade got a super kick. So now Blade and Butcher are on the tables. Both members of the Bucks are climbing up, and they're gonna do another spectacular spot. They're gonna climb up to the top of the entrance tunnel, and they're gonna jump off. So then they both stared at each other, and then they look down, fly off the top rope in the entrance circles, and then both of them with elbow drops, and one of them was sickening looking. 1, 2, 3, this match was over. I've got to tell you, this week is hard for me to pick a match of the night candidate in this show. But to be fair, I give both Cody and Eddie Kingston was an 8.5 for me. This match was also an 8.5, so I fucking loved it. It was a spot fest, but at the same time, it was spectacular looking. Even though they made the match a week ago, I get that feeling that this was booked for the sole reason of comparison that because of they're trying to do something that was extreme nature. Because this past Sunday was WWE Horror Show at Extreme Rules, and they tried to make something that was really worth extreme. And I'm going to tell you this fucking show, and I still got 3 more matches to review. This fucking show, with those first 3 matches, already made this better than Extreme Horror Show at Extreme Rules. That's a big statement to say, but you know what? It's fucking true. Because as sorry, as stupid, and I rated the Eye for an Eye match a 5.5. It was it was average at best. But I thought it was a sorry excuse of a match. But I had to give credit to certain elements. So I give points for that. But in my personal opinion, and I'm not going to be biased about it, in my personal opinion, it was a decent match. But my personal opinion, I didn't like it. But I'm not going to be biased, and that's just a personal opinion. So, and then Asuka versus Sasha Banks, a great matchup, but a stupid ending. And look what happened. If you watch Raw this past Monday, Stephanie McMahon ended up coming out and saying, well, we're going to decide who's going to actually win the Raw Women's Championship. So the title's vacant? Okay, so basically I could wear a referee shirt. I could put on a referee shirt with stripes on, or better yet, I could work at Foot Locker, steal one of their work uniforms, and go to a fucking wrestling ring, and I could declare, and I could count someone's pinfall, and see who wins a fucking match. Fucking pathetic. And as far as that Wyatt Swamp fight is concerned, piss off. The only swamp you got is in your underwear. Fucking idiots. Oh yeah, and by the way, after this spectacular match between the Bucks and Butcher and Blade, backstage they go to Alex Marvez and tries to talk to Lance Archer and Jake the Snake Roberts. So he asks him for a question. Archer grabs him forcefully and talks to him in the locker room. And meanwhile, when Jake the Snake Robert was talking to Alex Marvez on the microphone, Lance Archer's in the fucking locker room. He starts beating up 3 fucking guys. And I bet you they were all jobbers. But he beat the shit out of these 2 guys. Beat the fuck out of them. One of them he fucking tossed into the roof. And the fucking roof, the ceiling was literally falling after he fucking tossed his head on the roof. I wasn't even paying attention to what Jake the Snake was saying. I wasn't paying attention to Jake Roberts. I was paying attention to what this fucking dude was beating the shit out of all these guys. He's just being sick and tired, and I don't know what he means by that. Sick and tired, and sooner or later somebody will step up. They're tired of it. Archer comes up after destroying those fucking kids. So he reiterated Jake's message. So there you go. That was crazy. That was fucking crazy. I will admit that. Okay. So that was an interesting promo. Match number 4. We're introduced to 2 women. Well, one of them made their debut on AEW Dark yesterday, but here's Diamante against Ivelisse. It's hard to pronounce that, but Ivelisse versus Diamante. Ivelisse, interesting story. She made an appearance in the AEW Casino Battle Royal Women's Division back at the AEW All Out from last year. That was on the pre-show. She never made an appearance since. However, Diamante, she's wrestled in different independent promotions. As a matter of fact, I remember the last time I saw her was back at Bar Wrestling in late February. It was about 2 weeks before the global pandemic struck, and it's crazy because that's the last. It's the last wrestling event I have been to, but nonetheless, I like this match was good. It wasn't the best, but you know what? It showcased a lot of Diamante and Ivelisse's talent. I appreciate how the women were beating, slapping the shit out of each other, and they were giving some knife-edge chops. So they were doing this type of strong style move. I've seen Diamante wrestle before, and I've got to tell you, she is very good. And you know what's funny? It's kind of like a Cuba versus Puerto Rico thing here. Diamante is from Cuba. Ivelisse is from Puerto Rico. So the way this match starts is that they started with a barrage of attacks and a couple of punches and a couple of kicks and a couple of an arm drag from Diamante, then a kick from Ivelisse, arm drag from Iva, and then she locked up behind an Ivelisse reverses and sends Diamante into the corner. So anyway, so during this match, they shown a fucking promo of Big Swole cutting a promo during this match. Okay. First of all, I know I'm watching Diamante against Ivelisse fighting each other, and they're putting on a good match. I kind of find it questionable why they put a promo in the middle of a women's match, especially they're promoting Big Swole. I could get where they're trying to go with this, but at the same time, don't you think it's kind of a shit tosser if you think that they're going to cut a promo in the middle of a match? Doesn't it kind of downgrade the division a bit? I'm sorry. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't agree. See, a lot of people I've noticed responded to that. And I got some messages and said, why the fuck did they cut a promo in the middle of the match? So I said to myself, well, you know what? I wondered the same thing. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. I didn't hate the idea, but I didn't like the idea. I mean, if you want my honest opinion about it, it was kind of a bit disrespectful to, to actually showcase the women that are new to the roster and then try to showcase the division. But at the same time, you cut a promo in the middle of a match. I'm sorry, I just disagree. I like this match. This is good. Very good. Diamante showcased her where she's strong. She could fight off the apron. She could definitely give some deep knife edge chops. She could deliver some great kicks. Some people were actually misleading Ivelisse with Eva Marie. And I said, don't even compare her to her. Don't compare Ivelisse to Eva Marie. I'm sorry. Eva Marie sucks. I never said that before on my Wrestling Enthusiast Real Talk podcast. So, to be honest with you, she fucking sucks. And Eva Marie fucking sucks, and I don't want nothing to do with her. You know why? Because she's a reality TV cunt that just wanted to impress her resume to say, "Oh, I was actually a professional wrestler. I could get a TV deal going on, if you know what I mean." Fuck you, bitch. And I heard from Paige. I heard stories from Paige, and I've heard stories from the women's side of the locker room. She's a cunt. She's nosy. She thinks she's your friend, but she's two-faced. Let's be honest. Let's be real. Keep this shit real. She's two-faced. Fuck her. But anyway, that's my opinion on her. So I got offended when it said she compared to Eva Marie. Nah, if you think that's what she looks like, you're not. I'm sorry, but she sucks. So anyway, and we're towards the match. Chop City from Diamante. She starts talking shit. They go back and forth with the chops, which I kind of liked, until Ivelisse is as red as her outfit. They go for the face. Ivelisse kicks on the side of it. Like I said, from white as a sheet to red as a beet. But anyway, so Diamante with a kick of her own, clothesline from Diamante. Then she gives another. Ivelisse misses one. Then she gets German suplex. Gets a near fall. Diamante looked for something like a crossroads kind of like maneuver, but then Ivelisse with a power bomb and then gets another near fall. So then Ivelisse hits the ropes. Diamante is right behind her and then gets an inside cradle. 1, 2, 3. I feel like they have something to prove for us, but you know what? I like them. I've seen Diamante wrestle before, so yeah. I give credit where credit is due. She kicks some ass on this show here. Ivelisse, I hope we see more of her. I don't know what it is, but it looks like they come off as angry for no reason and hating each other for no reason, which is fine, but I think it was more of a personal pride type of thing. We've seen shit like that before, so interesting. I like the way they actually set this up here. All right, so match number 5. I'm going to take a look at Allen number 5 Angels, and he's a member of the Dark Order. Allen Angels, number 5. What kind of a fucking nickname is number 5? But anyway. So this match is against Hangman Adam Page. Is this like some sort of jobber type match too? Just like the way MJF handled it? Let's see. So I observed this match. I looked at it. And already Angels looks stupid already with him missing a kick to the head. Page then grins at him. Kick is blocked once again. And Page with a hard forearm to the face because Adam Page, he's aggressive. He's quite an aggressor, to be honest with you, especially when he works these type of traditional wrestling matches. Boy, that guy knows how to fucking deliver a clothesline. And he's good at it. So anyway, they were off to a really good beginning. Started off with a couple of kicks, a couple of Irish whips from Adam Page, and tries to reverse by Angels. Angels rush to the corner. Then he gives him a knee. It was a nice looking knee, but I mean, like the guy like 5. I mean, what the fuck? He whipped into the corner, right on Page, Adam Page. Angels then rushes and Page sets him up on the apron. Flies with a clothesline, then he misses, and then misses another one, then he misses another one. Angels with a kick, then Page turns, running a boot to the face, sending Angel flying out. Page then ends up leaving the ring, grabs Angels, and sends him into the barricade. So there was so Adam Page is already the aggressor in this match. Now, while all this shit happened, here comes the Dark Order. And we go to picture-in-picture, and because JR teases, JR, Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone, they started teasing the fact that they're coming out. We go to picture, and I said to myself, why didn't they do this shit during the Falls Count Anywhere match? But then again, whatever. So, after the picture-in-picture, Adam Page is getting some momentum. Angels tries to fight back. But Page starts pump handle slamming him. He gets a follow-away slam into a cover, but gets a near fall. A little bit towards the end of the match, Angels try to mount him with his right hand and then try to beat down Adam Page. But then Page sends him away, and then Angel starts to run. He hops on the back, then hits a senton, which looked nice. Moonsault on try to do a moonsault, but then Angels try to get momentum, and then did a moonsault, but then Page ended up having his knees up. Once Angels then bounced off the corner, Page missed a clothesline. Angels tried to hit him with a kick, did an enziguri, and then tried to hit the ropes. Then got clotheslined the fuck out of him by Adam Page, and I mean he fucked him up. And Page rushed the corner and then stops a boot, hits a hard ass clothesline, looked like a fucking lariat. He got a fall-away slam. Then he got a kip up from Page. Then waits a little bit. Get a hard rolling elbow. Gets a near fall. He doesn't understand why the hell he kicked out of that. So then he started staring down the Dark Order. Then grabs number 5 Angels. He grabs him by the face, sends him into the ropes. Then gets a power bomb on him and pins him 1, 2, 3. Well, I mean, I like the match. It was not too long, but it was not too short. It's a 7. It's a 7. It was a very solid, very good. After the match, Page asked for the Dark Order to go ahead and enter the ring, I guess. I don't know what the fuck that is about. So Brody Lee comes out, and here comes Colt Cabana out. Lee gets in the ring, says he's impressed by Page, but what he's not impressed of is he has a lack of friends and doesn't even have a tag team partner. I guess he's referring to Kenny Omega. So, if he were to join, he offers him a spot in the Dark Order to get protection and will never leave him alone. And Page says he appreciates the compliments and all, but the offer, he just isn't ready to join a cult. So Lee says, well, cowboy, you made your bed and hope you enjoy sleeping in it. Walks away. Lee grabs Colt Cabana and then he walks him to the backstage area. And then the rest of the Dark Order starts jumping in and start jumping on him 4-on-1, starts kicking the shit out of him. He tries to attack first, but of course, he ended up getting fucked up. Then here comes FTR. And they brought a fucking beer cooler and he threw it on someone's face. So they tossed it into the ring, attacked Dark Order. FTR then made short work out of them, and then Omega comes out a little bit late on the side. Where the fuck was he at this? They shake the hand of Page and offer him a beer, yet they were ignoring Kenny Omega. Well, it's obvious that they're teasing a breakup here. But the issue about this breakup that potentially could happen, they're still tag team champions. And they just announced that they're going to fight against the Dark Order. And it's going to be for the AEW Tag Team Championship next week. So let's see how that goes. And we get a promo about Jericho, about Orange Cassidy tossing in orange juice at Fight for the Fallen's episode last week. Of course, Jericho's still wearing that orange piss-smelling fucking jacket. $7,000 my fucking ass. Well, I mean, you never know. I don't know. Maybe it's true. Or it could be bullshit. But anyway, I don't care. Main event time. Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus take on the Inner Circles, Chris Jericho, and Jake Hager. Jericho and Jungle Boy are the first ones to start the match. Jericho was in the corner, stomped away, then he chopped on him. So they're already starting off with a few basic maneuvers, knife edge chops here and there. Jungle Boy tried to do an arm drag and tried to do another, then tried to drop kick Jericho. he tagged in Hager, and then Jericho tagged in Hager. Jungle Boy tagged in Luchasaurus. The big guys start coming in the middle of the ring, and then they start going at it with a couple of hard right hands. And I mean, they were working stiff. Hager punches out on the corner and then misses a clothesline, shoulder tackle to one another, to each other. Both men ended up bouncing off each other, and then Lucha then gets a spinning kick. Hager then kicks forward and then tries another tackle and then hits both men. And then another. And then they start both standing still and they start fucking each other up. Aubrey Edwards, who was the referee, tried to stop him. And then Hager tried to grab the ankle of Lucha. He locked him up. Luger grabs rope, so Aubrey Edwards stopped him from getting a submission. Jericho got tagged in, stomped the ankle. Jericho slapped Lucha hard, and I mean, he fucking whopped him like a fucking skillet. So Lucha hits one from below. Jericho drop kicks the leg, tags Hager. Hager's punching him. And Hager grabs a head and then cavats him from behind, and he started fucking him up. Hager then sends Lucha into the corner with a right hand from the corner, and then gives an elbow from Jericho. Not a Judas effect, but an elbow. Hager then clipped his knee. Luchasaurus, that is. Then he gets an Irish whip from Hager, and then it's a reverse back elbow from Hager. Double clothesline in the middle of the ring. So they both knocked each other down. Well, remember that big old Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior double clothesline. So, anyway. I liked how fucking crazy Jungle Boy can move and how quick he is. Jungle Boy attacked the back and kicked the legs and whipped and reversed, and Jungle Boy did a suicide dive onto Santana and Ortiz as they were outside. He bounced off the ropes with a springing outside in, according to Excalibur. I mean, I don't know. I'm not the perfect terminologist for wrestling, but I will say this. Sometimes Excalibur makes shit up. I got nothing against the guy. I mean, he was a former wrestler. I mean, became a wrestling fan. So, you know, I mean, what the fuck, you know? Let him be. Jim Cornette calls him a mark. A punk-ass mark. But, you know, you want to call him a mark, well, I'm not going to go that far. But, I mean, whatever. He does sound like a doofus sometimes, but that's about as far as I'm going to take it from there. Otherwise, I give credit. PWG and all that shit. Anyway, so while all that shit's going on outside, gets a near fall. Marco Stunt tried to do a hurricanrana on Jericho, and and Aubrey Edwards, the referee, couldn't see it, so that counted in for a near fall. Jericho pressed Jungle Boy up and then drops him like nothing. Oh, by the way, they showed Matt Hardy was in the crowd, so he's watching from afar. Jericho then drags Jungle Boy to the ropes, then hits right, and started punching him. You know, there was a lot of flippy shit, but it looked nice. So, if you look a little bit towards the end of the match, towards the climax part, Hager then drops. They started fucking each other up, and then Jungle Boy started kicking. He was a workhorse. He was a workhorse in this match. I mean, this guy tries. He's just fucking crazy. But anyway, Jungle Boy was fighting back with Chris Jericho. Jake Hager was trying to fight off Luchasaurus. So then Jungle Boy was flipping in the corner, then he moved, and then Hager then dropped Lucha off the apron, then dragged Jungle Boy into the corner, and then he tagged Chris Jericho. Jericho brings in a fucking baseball bat. Jericho then looks to swing the bat, but then Aubrey Edwards is in his face. She takes the bat from him, starts getting in, he almost made contact with her. Then she started getting into Jericho's face. Something tells me that they don't have a thing for each other. Let me just say it like this. The way the chemistry that they got when the referee, you know, the wrestler tries to bully the referee, and then the referee ain't gonna take no shit. She knows how to do that. that impressed the fuck out of me when I saw her do that. It's not the first time. It's like I must have seen it at least 4 or 5 times since the beginning of AEW. Anyway, since back in last October. So anyway, so Jericho is convinced to drop the bat because he would get disqualified, and she said she'll do it. He grabs Jungle Boy, then hits a back suplex. Then Jericho gets rolled up for a near fall. Clothesline from Jungle Boy with an enziguri. Then Jericho tags in Hager, and then Hager's in to prevent a tag from Jungle Boy to Luchasaurus. He hits some knee lifts against the ropes. Then he jags Jericho again. Then they start using some knife edge chops. Back body drop turns into a DDT, and he did a double DDT on Hager and Jericho. So now he finally tags in Luchasaurus, and then clothesline to Jericho. Then a pump kick to Hager, another one, and then a chop to Jericho. So he started going back and forth. He started moving around like the big 6'10" individual that he is. It's just not natural, but it's unbelievable to watch. It's amazing. So then Jericho gets flipped back with a roundhouse to Jericho, and then another for Hager. A fireman's carry to Jericho, and then a Death Valley driver, and then Hager then in the lift and dropped Luchasaurus on his back. So then he countered. Hager came in to lift and drop Luchasaurus on his back. Jungle Boy comes in with a flying forearm, sends Hager to the outside, and then all of a sudden, behind the referee's back, while Santana and Ortiz were out there distracting Aubrey Edwards, the referee, here comes Marco Stunt with a missile drop kick, and then Luchasaurus then hits a super kick while she was distracted. And then it ended up for a count cover? No. A tackle from Luchasaurus with a spinning kick to the side. They were moving back and forth in this shit. Lucha then calls for the end. So since Santana was on the apron, Lucha sends Jungle Boy into Santana with a Hurricanrana. And that was a sick-looking Hurricanrana. It looked amazing. And it looked risky because his head could have hit the fucking apron. So then Lucha is backed into the ropes. All of a sudden, Serpentico comes out from the ringside area, and then he gets the baseball bat, and then he clocks Luchasaurus. And then once that happened, boom, he does a code breaker and gets a pin. 1, 2, 3. Jericho wins. And I was like, well, what the fuck is this shit? Did Serpentico actually join Inner Circle? Holy shit. And then I looked back, and then, Serpentico joined because he started attacking Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. In comes Marco Stunt, try to come back in. He gets his ass kicked. So Serpentico's on the top rope. Lucha is all on the floor, and then a shooting star press onto Luchasaurus. And that was a beautiful-looking shooting star press. So then Serpentico stands in the middle of the ring. Then he takes off his mask, and oh my God, it's Sammy Guevara. Sorry, Sammy Guevara. Jesus Christ. That's how excited I was. So then they jumped Jurassic Express, and then here comes Orange Cassidy. And then here comes Best Friends. Then they start running into the ring, and then the Inner Circle started retreating like a bunch of pussies. And that's how we ended the show. I like this match. It was a 7.5 out of 10. It's funny to me. It's not an 8.5, just like Cody and Eddie Kingston, and just like Young Bucks and Butcher and Blade. I loved every single match in this show. Even the jobber match wasn't even that bad. Shall we get a quick recap? Real quick? Alright. So, watching this shit with the introduction of the TNT Championship Invitational, Cody Rhodes against Eddie Kingston, that shit surprised the fuck out of me. A no disqualification match with Eddie Kingston kicking ass, and they were whipping each other like dogs, and then fucking taking some spots left and right with, a back body drop on exposed concrete floor. Then fucking Kingston brings out thumbtacks, and then he slams Cody on the thumbtacks, my God. But Cody somehow fucking picked up and he fucking beat him. 1, 2, 3. That was an 8.5. We saw some blood. And Kingston, my God. That was amazing. MJF and Griff Garrison. I'm sorry that this was the shit show of the entire event. But even that, it wasn't that bad. It was more than 3 minutes. So I'll give it a 6 out of 10. This match was intended to make MJF look good. So that's a nice way to put it in. Taz and Brian Cage cut a promo before they kicked Darby Allin right in the ass. And when Ricky Starks jumped him from behind, they kicked his fucking ass. Moxley came in with a barbed wire baseball bat. So that's, I guess this rivalry ain't over. They announced that AEW will have a women's tag team tournament. Interesting. I'm serious. It's interesting. It's going to showcase the women's division there. Jericho's promo was funny. Young Bucks versus Butcher and Blade, Falls Count Anywhere. 8.5 out of 10. It's very difficult for me to say 8.5 out of 10 and 8 for Young Bucks and Butcher Blade, and 8.5 out of 10 for Cody against Eddie Kingston, no DQ. So let's dig a little deeper further in. I'm gonna say there's like 2 or 3 spots from the Cody match. Butcher Blade and Young Bucks who had like at least 7 or 8 spots. I'm pretty sure there wasn't much mat wrestling in this match, which I know some people don't like. But I'm going to tell you, for a spectacle that you're going to watch, whether it's ass kicking or any type of fighting, I'm going to go with the Bucks. So 8.5 out of 10, that's a match of the night, in my opinion. Diamante against Ivalisa. The women showcased really good. I liked how they worked. So 7 out of 10. I kind of changed my stance a little bit. I originally said 6.5, but I think I'm going to give them 7. I got to give these girls some credit. I just didn't like that idea that they cut a promo in the middle of the match. I think that was a bit shrewd and pretty stupid idea. Alan Angels, number 5, which is a stupid nickname, against Adam Hangman Page. I like this match too. This was a 7 out of 10. And it teased a rift while Dark Order was trying to go after Adam Page. He said, "Fuck your cult." So they jumped him from behind. And then afterwards, they started, here comes FTR, and then Kenny Omega shows up late. So that teases the obvious right there that they're going to break up. They probably will lose the tag team titles. Jurassic Express versus the Inner Circle's Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Main event. Very good main event. I mean, it's not the match of the night, but it was good. Even though it was short-lived a little bit. Nice 15-20 minute match. I mean, I enjoyed it. And then we're thinking Serpentico was going to be the newest member of the Inner Circle, and then it turned out to be Sammy Guevara. Holy shit. I'm going to go on a limb and say this show was an 8.5 out of 10. Some people are going to disagree with me on that, but I don't give a fuck. So 8.5 out of 10, AEW Dynamite episode from July 22nd, 2020. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the AEW Dynamite review. I have a special announcement to make. Since we're already at the end, I've been meaning to mention this. On the next episode of the Wrestling Enthusiast Real Talk, we're going to have a special guest, and he is a current commentator for California Wrestling from Hollywood, Blake Bulletproof Troop, MMA fighter my understanding is he's training to become a professional wrestler, and he is a cool guy. He likes the independent wrestling scene. He is a commentator for California Wrestling from Hollywood, and I suggest you check that podcast out. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're gonna have some discussion about the independent wrestling scene, and of course some other questions. It's going to be a brief appearance, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So tune in, guys, to next episode, episode number 23. Of the Wrestling Enthusiast Real Talk, where my special guest will be Blake Troop from California Wrestling from Hollywood, Mr. Bulletproof Blake Troop. So that's the announcement, and let's end this podcast. Let's go back the fuck home, shall we? So yeah, there you go. You know, that's the little. Hopefully, I get more special guests coming in soon. So I mean, that's what I definitely want to do. From now on, at least at this point, I'm still going to do some wrestling reviews. I'll still like to review NXT and AEW Dynamite. And I like to review other shows too. Maybe some independent shows, you know. Let's see what happens from here. I just hope and pray that this pandemic ends, because this is a bunch of bullshit. But anyway, protect yourself. Be safe out there. And always wear your mask, folks. Make sure you wear your mask. But in the meantime, I'm going to sign off for today. This is Eric Peralta, a.k.a. the Wrestling Enthusiast, reminding you to wash your ass. So see you guys next time. Bye-bye, everybody.